was a rumble in the jungle. Once I heard Dad was outside again counting birds, and Mama plugged in a nightlight, and I saw the queen of the world.
Welcome to the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. I will be your host, Natalie.
And I'm your other host, Liz.
We're so excited to be here today to just do a little intro to our birth podcast and how we got here and why we are starting this. A big reason is we just wanted to create a big community of birth and healing and stories, to create like a community of women and birthing partners where we can create a safe space to just share those and heal as we need to and create a collaborative experience.
And create a connection through our shared experiences. I know, having given birth, both of us during the pandemic, I think we kind of lost out on a little bit of that community. This is our way of trying to create something that we lost over the last couple of years. And just to help other moms, birthing people, partners find some comfort in our shared experiences. I know that when I was pregnant, just hearing other people's birth stories on other birth podcasts helped me find comfort in knowing that other women were going through the same thing as me, being pregnant, giving birth in a pandemic, and just all the different things we go through.
Yeah. I know as I was planning to give birth and kind of approaching my due date, and friends of friends who were nearing theirs too, I was just I just wanted to bond over this. It's a beautiful thing. We're going through such a big life transition, and it's never going to help to have more people in your corner. Never going to hurt to have more people in your corner.
It'll help, not hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're a little bit nervous. This is our first podcast, but we wanted to introduce ourselves a little bit. So I will start. We're both from St. Louis. I am a little bit older. I'm 39. I had my first baby when I was 37, I guess. And I just had my second this past year. So I met my husband, who is Natalie's husband's brother. They're not married to each other.
Live for real.
And I had lived abroad for a while. I had actually met Jason when I was in college. We met at a party. And when I moved back from living abroad for 6 years, I was on Tinder and I saw this guy, Jason. I was like, oh my God, I know him. I think I would have kissed him a little bit at this party. So when I saw him, I definitely wanted to connect, and we matched up, and we've been married almost 5 years now with 2 kids. And so that's a love story on Tinder. That could be another podcast. So I'm a paralegal. I'm not in the birthing community as a medical professional or anything like that. This is coming from a place of my own experiences from giving birth and just doing a lot of research for myself. And that is kind of my story.
Yeah. So I'm Natalie, obviously. I am almost 29 and I've lived in St. Louis my whole life. I actually met Sam when I was in high school, and he was the soccer coach. We ended up connecting. I think I didn't make the soccer team. I got a job, and we ended up connecting at the same job. So we worked there and became friends. And then we reconnected in 2016. And just fireworks flew. I've pretty much been obsessed with him, though, since the first time I met him. We did talk about that later. And we got married in 2019. So we're almost to the 3-year mark. We live in South City. And we have a 1-year-old, literally less than 20 days. We'll have a 1-year-old, Wesley.
Where did this year go?
And I am a client relations specialist at a counseling space here in St. Louis, which I really enjoy. And again, like Liz, I'm not a medical professional, just a person who is passionate about birth and birth stories and experiences. And yeah, me and Liz first bonded over our love of travel because I lived abroad in Australia for a few months, and right after Sam and I started dating. So we bonded over that. And then once Liz announced to her family her pregnancy in 2018. Yeah. 2018, we just pretty much bonded over that even more. And her natural birth approach and my obsession, we hit it off, and this kind of came to life. I remember mentioning it, and then we both got pregnant with my first and her second. And like I mentioned the podcast, and then we're just, oh my God, this is too much with 2 new babies on the way. And so here we are, almost like a year and a half later.
Yeah, we had lots of ideas then, but baby's got in the way. But now Vivian's now 15 months and Wesley's almost a year. So everyone knows how crazy that first year is with a newborn
and the milestone.
We can finally breathe. I'm my own person. I can actually pursue my own dreams.
Yeah. So yeah, like going back to our why again, like we bonded over like our shared love for natural birth and everything involving birth. And I became an aunt at the age of 10 and just was like obsessed with my nephew and my niece. And I was always like enthralled by like birth and pregnancy and just like having like women around me like breastfeeding and being like, that's so cool. What is going on with your body? Your belly is really cute. Your baby's really cute. And so that's where I'm from.
Yeah. I didn't really know much about birth until I got pregnant, really. And then I was like, how do I do this? Yeah, it was a lot of research. I'm definitely a type A person where I like research. And once I found some other birth podcasts, it was just really interesting to hear other stories. And then I started asking questions to my mom and my sisters and trying to learn more about what is this process like. It's so different for every woman and birthing person that it's fascinating how it's shared, but each story is so unique. And you may go into birth thinking you want one thing and then changing into something else or being forced to go into something else. I know with my second, I risked out of the birth center, which I wanted to birth in, and I had to give birth in a hospital, and I researched everything. I even interviewed like midwives to do a home birth, and it's hard to make these decisions on your own or with your partner, but hearing other people's stories is such a comfort, and knowing that a hospital birth isn't the worst thing or being induced isn't the worst thing, and just hearing positive stories, but also hearing the negative stories too is empowering, especially with postpartum. It can be so hard thinking you're alone during this time, and you're not. There's so many people going through it at the same time. That's why we wanted to start this podcast and just let everyone know that you're not alone, and just hearing other stories is really empowering. You can be informed of decisions that you have to make, and you trust the doctors and the experts at the same time. We're each individuals, and we need to be able to advocate for ourselves if there's something that we didn't, or even just asking questions that we don't know the answers to. It can be really nerve-wracking when a doctor tells you this is what's going to happen, and you don't even know what words they're saying, what terminology they're saying, and you're in the middle of birth, and you're not in your right mind. And just being empowered and informed to be able to make decisions for ourselves.
Yeah. I think a big reason of this is like to create healing for maybe women who did have a birth experience that like they really can't understand and make sense of yet.
Yeah. Just being able to do the research. Yeah. You hear the negative stories, but that's that person's experience. That's not everyone's experience. So hearing a lot of different perspectives is super helpful.
Yeah. So this is our intro. Our next podcast will be about like maybe an hour long. It's going to kick off Liz's first child, Arthur's birth story, and then we'll go to mine with Wes, and then we'll go back to Liz's for her second. After that, we're going to definitely have some friends on to share their birth stories. We would love to eventually have some doulas on and fertility awareness specialists.
And partners too.
Yeah, partners.
We definitely want to get some partner experiences as well, because you guys are the rocks we lean on. And yeah, I was just talking to Jason about this the other day. Like how hard is it just watching the person you love in so much pain and like you can't do anything about it? And
Sam always says that too.
it's just, yeah, I would love to hear other people's stories too, just from all the different perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sam asked me the other day, like, in this first year of life, of Wesley's life, what are you most grateful for? I'm like, the laughs, the giggles. He's so funny. And Sam, how you brought him into this world. I'm like, oh my God, thank you.
That's really sweet.
Oh. So yeah, if you have any questions, you know that we're here via Instagram at the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. Email is info@the Golden Hour Birth Podcast.
Yeah, and if you want to share your story, please send us an email or find us on Instagram to let us know. And we will hopefully have a lot of stories on here. It's going to be exciting.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also just want to give a shout out to our intro song, Donnie Rogers. You can find him on Bandcamp. He made this beautiful song when he became a father on March 4th with his son. So we're super excited to showcase that beautiful song he made.
Yeah. And that will be a link to that song in our show notes as well. And we'll have some other links to our Instagram and our website as well, which we're going to be sharing some blogs, and you'll be able to find our podcast on there too. And then we'll be on Apple Music, and we'll be on our podcast, whatever it's called, and Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. So yeah, we're super excited.
Thanks so much. We'll see you later.